Episode today. So I got my guest up here. I want to introduce you to my guest. This brother right here, man. I known him for a long time, man. I seen him come up, really perfected his craft, but also being most importantly a student of the game. So since we talk about hip hop on this podcast, he was a perfect guest for that, but also because his contributions to the local scene here. But one of my favorite producers, right? He's been my go-to for a lot of stuff for my artists. He's been a go-to for even stuff here. So I got DJ Jason in the house. What's up, G?
What's good, my guy?
How you, man?
I'm blessed, brother.
Appreciate you coming up here, man. Long time coming. But I don't say it lightly. He's one of my favorite people on the local scene because he understands the music business side of things, but he also understands that the culture's important as well, and we have to do our best to balance the two, right? We want to keep this shit alive for our kids and our grandkids, et cetera, et cetera. So, super producer. He's dabbling into some collectibles and things like that. So we're gonna talk some other shit like that. But I appreciate you being up here. How's everything on your side, man? Everything good?
Living the life, man. My dream is, it's coming true.
Got DJ Jason in the house, man. So, one of the crazy things as we chop it up today, we're gonna hit some topics, but one of the things that I was just thinking about, right, is like, me and you came up, we was kids, bro. Like, we grew up together, right?
Absolutely.
So, and it's crazy because when I think back at that time frame, there was only like 2 or 3 things that we really, really enjoyed. It was basketball, hip-hop, music, and then it was wrestling. That was our thing, bro. That was like the trifecta of everything. So, you a producer. Tell me a little bit coming up. I guess let's start from the genesis. Like, was there an album, a song, a moment in time in hip hop where you was like, yo, I want to do that shit?
Man, so we listen to music constantly. We listen to everything from Method Man, Dre, M, all of it. I think the moment I started hearing like DJ Premier, I think that's what put me on. I'm like, okay, I need to start doing something in the music, whether it's producing or DJing. So, yeah, man.
Absolutely.
Anything Premier, Gangstar.
What was your first, like, Primo? Do you remember, like, your first Gangstar record or Primo
Above the
beat?
Clouds.
Okay.
Above the Clouds.
That's classic.
We used to watch skate videos, and so much of our talent, or not talent, our taste of music came from those skate videos. All the hip hop that was in it. I remember watching one video over and over and over, and that song was in there. And I was like, you know what? I think DJing is something I need to look into.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think I always go back to, like, I always like to try to ask, like, what was that moment in time where shit just clicked? You know what I'm saying? And
well, I mean, my mom, music was the biggest thing in her. So we would wake up Saturday morning, music playing, blasting. Anita Baker, OJ's, all that influence. So we got that side of it. And then when I started hearing those songs being sampled in hip hop, I was like, oh, this is different.
Yeah.
This is something like
some art to it.
Yeah, and it takes me back. It takes you back to that good time. You're
absolutely.
Like, oh, I remember waking up on Saturday, cartoons, mom's cleaning, Anita Baker in the background.
Absolutely.
And then you hear a song that sampled that.
Absolutely.
Like,
it's crazy
you
bring that up. I was digging through the crates a little bit. I got hard drives full of just mixtape era stuff. A lot of shit that's not on DSPs, you know what I'm saying, or on YouTube. And
that DatPiff era.
Yeah, I'd probably say pre that, but yeah, same thing. Like kind of within for the new school cats, the young cats that grew up with Dat Piff, it was like Dat Piff was a hard drive. You feel me? We just had a bunch of shit on there, but Don't Walk Away by Jade was a big R&B record in the 90s. Yeah. My mom's love that record, and Chic redid that shit. Dazel did that shit from the Locks. I was like, wow. And it's dope because, you get them old records, and you see these creators flip it and make it something different. Yeah. Right? Or they interpret it in a different way. It could be a banger, a hard joint. It could be a R&B record, but that's super dope. So Primo, big influence. And I mean, it makes sense because Premier's such a... To me, Premier's the greatest of all time.
Has to be.
Okay, I don't want to debate too much right now because we're gonna get into it in a minute. But are you putting Preem number one in the list of all time?
Of all time?
Of all time. Are you putting Dre ahead of him?
If we're going strictly records, strictly records. We're not talking about who they put on.
I mean, let's just say holistically from top to bottom. Let's just say overall, as a producer in hip hop, is he number one?
He might be.
Yeah,
I feel like because
he's my number one.
He worked with,
no question.
He's worked with hundreds and hundreds of artists, everyone you can think of, new school artists, R&B artists, Japanese artists. You can look and find a Primo record anywhere.
I know, it's insane. I was blessed to be in D&D before it closed. Oof. When Remy came home, I took a flight out because we all had this plan to. Pap rented out like Lamborghinis and stuff to go pick up from Bedford Hills. So, shout to Primo's manager, Ian Schwartzman. I had my suitcase with me. I literally left JFK. I took an Uber to the Bronx with my bag, and then we were all driving up to Bedford Hills to go see Rem. Well, Rem didn't get released because the fucking prison was like, oh, y'all got a fucking circus out here. We ain't gonna let her go. She gonna stay the night. Fuck. I couldn't get back home, so Ian takes me back to the city. He's like, you want to see Preem's studio? I said, absolutely, bro.
That's not
got
even
to
a question.
see D&D, like, and this was like maybe a month or two before, he moved his studio. And when I tell you, like, when I went into the studio, I felt, it's hard to explain, but I felt.
The greatness?
Yeah, bro. Like,
absolutely.
I'm sitting in the seat that Jay was. I think somebody had told me when he was in the studio, like, yo, you sitting in the chair that Jay sat in when he did The Evils.
And
that's one of my favorite J records. So you're in this room of greatness, bro, and you just sit back and like it's probably one of my premier moments as a person or as a fan of hip hop, I should say, is like, damn, we in D&D type shit.
That's crazy. I'm extra jealous.
Insane,
on that. Extra
bro.
jealous on that.
But Preem is one of those guys. He's one of those architects where I feel now he's definitely been able to kind of stand the test of time from the late 80s or the mid 80s until now. Like he's doing records with top tier artists, not only in hip hop, but just in music. So I have to agree with you on that. So I know coming up, obviously you're a big fan of the hip hop side. What made you get into producing? A lot of people want to be a rapper, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of people say, yo, I just want to be a rapper. And that's it, call it a day. What made you decide, like, yo, I want to be a DJ/producer?
It was Primo. Just hearing those cuts, hearing the scratching. And then we had Scribble Jam. I don't know if you remember Scribble Jam.
Yeah.
So it was like an MC,
I remember
DJ. It was like the battle scene in the 90s, 2000s. They would always have these DJ battles in there. These cats just scratching against each other, talking shit on record. And I was like, man, I want to do that. So, yeah, I said, Mom,
that's it.
We're going to Guitar Center, and
that was it.
That was the start of everything.
Yo, I want to show some love to your moms. Yo, shout to your moms, bro.
Absolutely.
I don't know if you remember this, but I remember it was when we first linked up. Marshall Mathers LP came out.
Yeah.
And at the time, we couldn't go buy the CDs because they used to have them 18 and under stickers. Yo, I gave his moms the bread.
Absolutely.
She dropped it off with us at school. Type shit. She's like, yo, here's a CD. You think your mom knew what was in that CD?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. She had the Doggy Style cassette.
Oh, word?
And I stole it from her. She had Chronic on wax. She had all kinds of stuff. I don't think she was listening to it. I just know she had got it from somewhere. Mm-hmm. And yeah, she let me take all that. She didn't know what was on that.
That's
on Doggy
crazy.
Style at what? 6, 7 years old?
Yeah, what was
Should
that?
be listening to that.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy because I think about that shit all the time because we was young, bro. We had to be like, I don't even think, maybe we was probably 13, 14.
At
like,
least.
Like, I'm like, yo, because I just remember during that time frame, I could not, we were such music junkies that we couldn't get the tapes or the CDs because you always have to show your ID. You had to be 18 and older.
Yep.
So your moms came in clutch, bro.
Anything.
And it wasn't just an M album. It was every album that came out during that time. He was like, yo, I get your mom's a 20, she go get it. I was like, yo, your mom, she was the greatest, man. Shout out to your mom.
She still is the greatest. She still is, absolutely.
She's amazing, man.
Couldn't do things without her, you know?
For real, man, for real. So I know sometimes in the city, right, in the 505, there's this, like, I think sometimes there's this dark cloud around the city where it's like it's just one version of hip hop that comes here, right?
Yeah.
And it's usually like late to the party. So what I mean by that is like something will pop up on a mainstream level, and it takes the 505 like 6 to 8 months to catch up.
Absolutely.
And then they start duplicating, and by that time we off to something else. One thing for you that I've really noticed is that you, on a production level, you have a different style for every kind of piece of hip hop. So like there's some trap shit in there.
Everything.
There's some soul samples, right? There's some of that just chopping. No
Everything.
drums. It's like you just letting the sample ride. Why do you think that's so important in this city to have that kind of sound as a producer to shop your beats out?
Like the diversity from it?
Yeah.
Because you hear the sound out here, it's all the same.
It's
all the same. You know, like I said, student to the game, study music from all over the world. You know, a lot of that stuff sounds different. A lot of my influences, they're not from out here. Mm-hmm. So, you know, when I'm on YouTube or I'm anything, I'm studying. And just hearing the different sounds from the different, you know, areas of the world, I have to try to recreate that because I don't want to sound... I don't want to be
one-dimensional.
I don't want to stay in a box. You know what I mean? I don't want to sound like, if you hear my stuff, you're not going to pinpoint where I'm from. You know what I mean? I could be from wherever.
Yeah, it's kind of that jack of all trades mentality where it's like, yo, I want to have a significant sound. And I think sometimes too, like when we look at when I was coming up, or at least, and I know you could vouch as well, is like we listened to everything. It wasn't just East Coast shit. I'm from the East Coast, so obviously I'm more leaning to that. But it was like, I remember, I think, actually, I know for sure, you were the first one to put me on the Exhibit.
Exhibit, absolutely.
And Exhibit's one of my favorites, bro. That guy he's still insane. But it's like we started to kind of then the South kind of came, and we started paying attention to the South. And
Outkast.
Outkast and UGK. A-Ball MJG. So it was dope for us to have that mentality because I think nowadays, especially in this kind of weird era in hip-hop, it's not so much regional now. Because back in the day, like me and Grizz talk about it all the time, he stands on his sword. He'll be like, yo, if it's Tupac versus Big, he's picking a side, and he dying on that side. You feel me? There was never like, yo, I like Big and Pac. He's like, nah, that shit ain't flying.
Yeah.
We didn't come up like that at least, but I know there was a generation after, or I should say a generation before that was very territorial. It's like if it was West Coast, I ain't bumping it. If you from New York, that's it.
You remember the whole Pac and Beef, Big Beef?
Yeah.
They were making magazine covers saying, you know, West versus East.
All of that.
They put it out there.
Right.
But, you know, the beauty of it is that, like you said, we listen to everything. It could be from Canada. It could be from, you know, Europe. It can be from wherever.
Yeah, absolutely.
It doesn't matter. We don't have to pick a side on that.
What's your process on? I know a lot of the time. I know you like to sample, dig, right? You like to dig in the crates. Are you more old school, digging in the crates, vinyl shop, picking your vinyl? I know technology's advanced nowadays. Is there a new way to dig for samples for you nowadays in your process now? How are you doing that?
Yeah, so a lot of those records, you know, you would get a record back in the day, and it might not be the best quality. So when you sample it in, there's a scratch here, there's something here. Yeah. You can find all those joints on YouTube now. I just pull everything from YouTube. And then there's a service called Splice. They just have tons and tons and tons of samples, literally whatever you want, drums, percussions, vocals, everything. And that's literally my go-to right now is all that.
That's dope. All you upcoming producers that want to get into the game and want to start doing things, I think the first thing I'm going to tell you as a non-producer, but I have an ear, is that you need to do your homework first.
Yep.
Right? Learn music, right? Learn notes. Learn not only just what hip hop is about, but understand what the music's about, and then take those. Splice is a great service, man. Shout to them. Shout to Splice, man. They got a dope piece of technology out there for everybody.
It's crazy, and it's studio quality sound. I think you pay like $10 a month, and you get like 500 credits, and each sample is a credit. So
yeah,
you just go on there. I have thousands of credits, and I just be downloading samples all day.
It's crazy because I remember when I was a kid. So my mom had a crate. She still got a crate she still got the crib, and I looked through her shit. I be like, yo, what the fuck? Like she just has some off the wall shit,
random
and
stuff.
that's the shit that you pull from. You know what I'm saying? But I remember, shout out to my brother J Dot when we was doing our trek here and we was doing a lot of recording. We kind of hit this snag where it was like the internet was there, but like we couldn't really grab the samples. I remember we sampled a Michael Jackson record, and we couldn't even grab we could grab a CD rip from like and bootleg it.
Absolutely.
But we wanted the actual highest quality possible because we were such a stickler, and it was like finding the records back then was so bad because this is around the time when CDs started, the stores started phasing out.
Yeah.
You couldn't really find vinyls unless maybe you was at like a yard sale or something like that.
Yeah.
So the way technology's changed is amazing, bro. And that's why I think now this young generation got it made. So now it's like you can't make no excuses. The shit is there for you.
Oh yeah.
It's there. It's accessible. You just gotta Google the shit, right? When you're producing, let me ask you before I ask you that question. So when you're producing for artists, do you like to be in the studio with them?
Absolutely.
And to kind of, okay.
Absolutely. Because what I'll do is I'll play some stuff that I already made just to see where they're at. If they vibe, they like a certain sound, and then I'm like, all right, let's make something. Dope. So I already know what they're vibing to. I hate sending beats out to people. I'm trying not to do that anymore.
It's hard.
It's hard. Because you send really someone a pack of beats, 20 beats, 2 years later.
Oh, I know.
Yo, you make a track with any of those yet?
I know.
So no, I'd rather have them in the studio. Yeah. Record it then.
Doing it, yeah. Absolutely. That's one of the hard things too. Is like working over the years with a lot of different artists is that's usually what it's like. It's like send me a beat pack. And one thing about that's crazy though, and I think I learned that from Preem too. Having my interactions with Preem, he works like that too. Mm-hmm. I ain't sending you no beat. I'm gonna make something for you.
You go to him,
and he makes it for you.
Absolutely.
I remember when producer T-Rap, what was the NBA game that Preem joint?
Streets?
With Pap. It was Pap.
No, it was 2K16.
Okay.
Oh, recently.
So,
Primo did the whole, or I think he did part of the soundtrack. I think they did like 3 different producers.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Primo had his like 15 songs or whatever. That AEO song.
Yeah.
He put that on there. Did the
the Run the Jewels joint.
Mm-hmm.
No,
that was later.
No, that foreign group.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
I'm gonna play this shit.
Yeah, so when Preem was doing that shit, like I just remember like he basically made that beat for Pap.
Yeah.
And he was like, yo, take that. And everything that we've had on Pap's albums from Primo has been straight like tailor-made for him. And it's crazy because usually like I don't know, like I'm not an MC. I used to rap back in the day, but I'm not a rap at that caliber. But like, if I want like 3 or 4 to pick from, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
But it's like, nah, that's it. And then you just go with it because it's Preem. Like he knows. Preem knows everything. So it's dope that you have that ear as well with the talent that you work with. I think that's important to be in the studio. That sending track shit to me, I think it's transactional. Yeah. You don't get the soul in it. Like you don't be able to collaborate and shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
Especially if they don't know what kind of beats you make, what kind of production style you have. Yeah. They just say, yo, send me something. That's how a lot of cats are out here. They want trap stuff or they want this and that, and I'll send them hip hop, and they're like, I can't rock with this. And I'm like, It was like who was it? Uzi? Didn't he go on somewhere and they tried to put a hip hop beat? He's like, I'm not rapping to that.
Yo, shout to Uzi.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not rapping to that.
I think it was Kodak.
Well, Kodak.
I think Uzi did that shit too, though.
I think it was Uzi.
I think Uzi did that shit too, bro.
Yeah. They were
was it the Ebro show? I think it might have been the Ebro show,
it was
bro.
Ebro.
But I think
that's right.
Yeah,
I got a theory on that. I think a lot of these guys like
Ebro's a dick. You know what I'm saying?
Ebro?
Show, yeah, bro.
Don't get me started on Ebro.
Yeah, bro. That
it was either him or Academics. It was one of the two.
I'm pretty sure it was Ebro because that fool's a dick. He did it on purpose. I'm sure. You know
absolutely.
what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
He's like, yo, rap to this premiere beat, and
yeah.
Uzi's like, nah. It's like that's not what I do. That's not what I do.
Right.
But that's the thing. It's like you want him to be somebody he's not. He's not. He ain't not a fucking hip hop dude.
And that's the beauty of hip hop. I think now is like we one of the dope things about this show, and there's a reason I wanted you up here, is that everybody's got their own opinion and their own taste on shit, right? And it's really about an education piece, because at the end of the day, hip hop is an art. It's not a science. You know what I'm saying? There's no right or wrong way to do this shit. Like Uzi's a great example. Like Uzi can spit. Uzi got fucking bars.
So his first stuff, man, he was.
And it's crazy because I seen him transition to who he is as an authentic person. And you cater that, like, I fucks with Uzi. I rock with what he does. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? As long as he ain't disrespectful and this, that, and that. I think you're talking about Kodak when he was like, yo, I ain't playing that Biggie shit. And it kind of came off disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? But, yeah, a lot of, some rappers can do what others do, but I'll tell you one thing. Them other rappers can't do what the other guys do.
Exactly.
You feel me? And that's what makes hip-hop hip-hop. You feel me?
But do we call them rappers or do we call them just artists at this point?
We call them, I don't know. I was having this conversation. Yo, shouts to my wife. I know she ain't tuned in because she busy right now, but, bro, me and my wife been having this debate because I be telling her, it's like, yo, there's something about, it's like, I don't know the right word to put it, but it's like, and I don't really want to categorize a specific artist, but it's like the guys who don't rap, they're not MCs. I don't know what they are, but they're not masters of ceremonies. They can't do it all.
They're artists. They're
just.
It's that hip hop.
I wouldn't even call it that, cause like.
But like, and not put pop as in like the popular. Like literally, just take it as like hip hop. Like it's the popular.
It's a popular thing. I don't know, man. I don't know what to call it, but there's just certain things that I appreciate guys like Uzi and I appreciate guys like Kodak who have their own style of doing things. It works for them, right? But that's them. They can't do what my guys do.
But you wouldn't call Kodak a rapper?
I would.
I'll call him I don't know.
I mean, I think Kodak.
But
Kodak's fire.
Hip hop is his own thing, for sure, right? But I think rapping is just like slick talk. Feel me? It's like yeah, bro. Like shit, and that's what it depends on where you're from. You know what I'm saying? It's like shit out in Florida. The type of shit he's talking about is the type of shit, you know what I'm saying?
I guess for me, like, I
just feel like, like 50 says, like, talk greasy, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's all that shit is, bro. And it's like, it's different to everybody else, and I understand that, like, hip-hop is its own thing, for sure, and I feel like that's, like, the birthplace or, like, the origin of what we're at, what we got like, now, but at the same time, you can't, I feel like, fuck it, Kodak is a rapper. You know what I'm saying? Uzi is a rapper. I feel like
I shouldn't say he's not a rapper. I just feel he's not one of those guys that could do everything. You know how like we talk about our favorite MCs, they could do anything. Like Nas is versatile. He could do anything. You feel me? Pac can do anything, right? Big can do anything. I don't think some of these rappers can't do everything.
But if you have to categorize it and put them in a genre, it's rap.
Right.
I guess.
Yeah.
Anything as far as what goes? As far as what? Like, when you say anything, I don't think Kodak wants to do everything. I think he just wants to spit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get that.
And when I say spit, I mean he's talking about that Florida shit. He's spitting. He's spitting the shit that is from where he's from. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well,
where he's from, them motherfuckers feel it. You know what I'm saying? They got them big the wicks in their shit in Florida. You know what I'm saying? Like those type of cats nod their head to his shit. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And, but that's the beauty. That's what I'm saying. But that's the beauty of hip hop is that everybody can come from different walks of life on earth. Yeah. And still be able to bop, hit you with that beat, and then rap. Whatever you rapping about, you're putting your words together, right? You're a spokesperson for your hood. You're a spokesperson for your situation. You understand what I'm saying? What makes you elite, right, is being able to encapsulate everything. Yeah. Right. And I feel like that's what Nas did. Nas had the crazy concepts. Nas had the well-crafted albums. That's what I love about hip-hop. Yeah. I'm not really a guy that likes singles. I've learned in my older age that, it's a business, right? So it's like Kodak. He puts 40 records on the album, and 5-6 of them joints going to be in the top 100 because they're bops. That's what he goes for, right? So there's a difference, I think. There's a difference in MCs in the sense of, some guys really want to put out a piece of art, and some guys just want to, rap, do their thing. There's nothing wrong with it at all.
Yeah. It's a lot of it is about money.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of it is. So let's call them trap rappers then.
Yeah.
Okay. I hate putting that shit, but I get what you're saying.
But that's what it is. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because they're not in this for the culture. They're not in this to put out music for people to enjoy on that type of level. Right. It's a party.
Yeah.
They're trying to pack clubs. They're trying to make the radios. They're trying to
stay
make
on
videos.
that, because one thing I want to ask you is that when it comes to your production style, like how do you adapt to the scene here? Like I know you've been doing your thing for a long time here. How do you adapt to the scene here? Because there is a lot of that here. And not just here in the city, but I think that happens a lot where that trap is very much so. That's where these kids come from. They come from the hood. They come from the trap. And that's all they know. How do you adapt to that? And do you ever work with an artist and be like, hey, I know you want to do that trap. We could do that. But hey, I want you to expand your diameter. I want you to maybe look at this beat, check this beat out. What's your process like working with guys like that?
So I've been trying to get into the, I try to stay current. I try to stay.
You listen to everything out?
Everything. Yeah, I try to listen. I mean, Lil Baby's one of my favorite artists.
Baby's fire, yo. Baby's fire, bro.
Like some of his, and if you break down what he's saying too, it's wild.
Nah,
it's got heart behind it. But some of the artists out here, what I'll do is because I got a lot of soul, a lot of R&B flavor behind it. So I like to make trap, but more melodic, not the synths and all that stuff. I like to take samples and flip them with this trap drums. So it creates more of a story to it. You know what I mean?
Right.
It makes them like, okay, I'm gonna talk about this instead of just talking about the typical.
Melody's key. That's important because
100%.
that's what catches the ear.
Absolutely.
That's what catches the ear, and that's what makes it. I steal it from Pharrell. That sticky.
Yep.
It makes the song sticky. You know what I mean? Like it's stuck in your head, the melody, and then obviously if the artist you're working with is crafty enough with the pen, he's able to create a dope hook or a good chorus to go with it. So,
but like you said, because if not, then we're stuck 6-7 months behind making stuff that we just heard, and they're like, well, we already heard that. The world's already heard that.
Yeah.
So it's so hard to blow up here unless you're actually stepping outside of that and making different sounds. You know,
that's
what I mean?
important. And shout out to Cali Soul, man. I actually had that conversation with him not too long ago. We had him up on a pod and he kicked a crazy freestyle. I saw Cali for Juneteenth, and he was getting ready to perform, but he had some downtime. And he was kicking it with my son, and we bought some merch for some of his label mates and things like that. And I was telling him, I said, yo, your sound here is what's gonna take you out.
Absolutely.
Because he's thinking outside the box.
Absolutely.
He's still from here. He still reps here. I know he lives in LA. He's dual. He lives here and then he lives in LA. But he told me that too. He says, yo, some of these guys are so one-dimensional that, and I told him, I said, they think oval. They egghead motherfuckers. They think oval. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? And all they attempt to do is to be hot locally. And he's got dreams and ambitions beyond that. But he's got the right mental to do it, and he's musically inclined.
And he studied. He's a student to the game.
Student of the game.
When I first met him, man, he'll tell you, Bert's. He was doing the Wednesday joints, the every Wednesday shows.
Bert's, why does that sound familiar? What?
Bert's Tiki Lounge downtown.
I remember that spot.
Bro, we were in the scene.
Spot?
We were in the scene.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he would young boy. He would go up there and he would spit, and I'm like, so I remember he came off stage when I was like, bro, you're next. Me and the homie Third Leg, we were like, you next, man. And
might be there. Just work on it. We good. Just put it on them for now, or whoever else. The crazy thing is that with Cali too is that he's been one of those guys I think too, as I seen him kind of grow from that, because I remember I was chopping up with your wife here just a moment ago before we went on air. DZ was, he was part of my crew for a while, and fucking DZ was a top tier guy, like lyrically. I feed DZ fucking beats, bro.
Absolutely.
I feed him a Nas beat, a big beat. I throw him a Dre beat. I throw him any kind of current beat that was on it, he'd ride on it. And Cali would come up and be like, yo, Vinny, can I spit something for you? Tag me. He was young boy.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
And I was like, damn, like his timing was just impeccable then. And all he's done now is just elevate. So shouts to him. I'm super proud of him.
Oh, yeah. When I saw him on that NBC show, man.
Insane,
we
bro.
watched it live.
Yeah.
Man, I'm a fan of him through and through. Through.
He's one of those guys to me that we're working on some things. I've been blessed to be able to work with him behind the scenes. So I'm a behind the scenes kind of guy. I don't like playing in front. I don't like being on Front Street. It's one of the arguments I always get into with Rim. Shouts to Rim, I love you so much, but like I don't want to be Front Street. Like I just don't. I'm the not to steal from Don Callis, but I'm the invisible hand, bro. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to be the invisible hand, and I pride myself on that because, you know.
Yo, shout out Don Callis. That's crazy.
That's my guy.
That's a nice reference. Like
that's my fucking guy, bro. We're gonna talk about that shit too today. But I don't want to be Front Street because I got clowned on when I on my come up. I'm gonna tell y'all this story. Rest in peace, Stack Bundles. I got him tatted on my arm, bro. Stack was part of Jim Jones's Bird Gang. It was like probably 05, 06. My grandmother lived about 10, 15 minutes away from Far Rockaway, which is where Stack Bundles was from. Yep. I'm in a bodega. Regular schmegular, I'm getting a sandwich, a boy's head sandwich. Stack Bundles walk in. And I don't know if you remember, but in high school, I used to carry the thin CD jewel cases. I used to carry 3 or 4 of them in my back pocket because I always had my fucking CD player on me. This guy knows. Always. Well, I had a Stack Bundles mixtape. I was in transit going there because I would always walk everywhere. Stack Bundles in the bodega. And I'm a fan. Like, this is the mixtape era. This is like prime mixtape era. I have his mixtape in the back of my pocket. I pull it out. Yo, can you sign it? I'm a fan at this point. And he's like, hey, where you from? Like, you ain't from around here. I was like, nah, you know, my grandmother lives in Long Beach, but I'm making a trek. I took the train, the bus. I'm walking over here. You know somebody from around here? I said, yeah, I know somebody from around here. Long story short, he signs a CD. He says, yo, I was a kid. He's like, yo, what you want to be when you grow up? I said, I want to be a rapper. He looked me dead in my face. He says, yo, son, you too ugly for that. Damn. But he was right. I didn't have right. Yeah, I didn't have the. You got to think about it from a business perspective at that time, especially in the late '90s and early 2000s. You had to have that look, that mold. It didn't matter how good you were, right? You had to fit that mold. And he was like, "What's that in your pocket?" And I pull out. And at the time, I was doing Dipset Street Team, so I had a lot of my promo on me in my backpack in my pocket. He's like, "You that little rascal out here with these fucking posters?" I said, "You're damn right." He's like, yo, that's your calling, yo. And he changed my life because from that moment on, I stopped rapping. I pulled out some shit with Jay and Shane when we was doing our shit together. Like, I put a 16 together. Absolutely. You want me to rap for you? I got you.
I remember.
But that was it. I really wouldn't play it like that because Stack told me, he's like, yo, son, you too ugly for that shit. And shout out to Bino. I seen Bino at the Slay. Rest in peace, K Slay. We did a street. We named the street after Slay. And we did a revealing. And I never met Stack's right-hand man was this cat named Bino. I never met him. We had conversations here and there, but I never met him. I pulled him aside and I embraced him and I said, yo, this is why Stack changed my life. Because if he didn't tell me to stop rapping, I would have kept going and be like, yo, who is this guy? And I took that and I was like, yo, I'm gonna do this promo shit. I'm gonna master this shit and I'm gonna kill that shit. Because I was determined on making sure that the artist I was repping had the best look. You feel me? And he changed my life, telling me that. A lot of people take that as an insult. You know, they get cow and be like, oh, this guy told me he was ugly. Yo, Stack was the handsome hustler. And to be honest, in my opinion, he was Drake before Drake with that pretty boy talk.
Absolutely.
That flow, that, you know what I'm saying? Like, he was that guy.
You put me on to him.
Prior to Drake. So it was just dope to be able to have that, somebody pull you and kind of like, I know you want to do this, but I see something in you, go this way. You know what I'm saying? Did you ever have an instant like that where maybe you thought like, hey, I want to do this style of production and it turned you a different corner? Or even a DJ, because I know you DJ as well. Was there anybody in your corner that maybe detoured you in a time where you needed to be detoured?
Nah, I mean, it might have been the opposite. Like, I stopped messing with people, you know, out of high school, you know, friends dropping off, all this. I just stopped messing with people. And I think it was in spite of them, you know, telling me, oh, yeah, a lot of people told me, do this, go play football, go play sports, go do whatever.
They always want to tell you what to do.
I was like, I'm not trying to play football. I'm not trying to get no concussions and no CT that we didn't know about back then. Facts. And I was like, you know what? So a lot of nights by myself, just chilling, music saved me through and through. Every era of my life, there was music there.
Nah,
so I think, you know, being so diverse with what I listen to, that shaped me on. I'm like, okay, because you know, I in the scene out here, I know everybody.
Right.
I know the sound out here.
Right.
You know, I will always tell you through and through, I'm from here, but like I don't rep it.
Right.
You know, you're not gonna see 505 artwork or 505 tatted on me.
Right.
Because, you know, the world doesn't know about out here like that.
Right.
The world thinks we're a part of Mexico. So
yeah, they think
to be honest, I'm like, I'm not gonna rep somewhere. I'm just gonna let the music speak for itself.
Yeah, I'm the same way, bro. I think that some of the time when we come up, we're trying to get shit done, right? When we're all trying to hustle, we're all trying to do our own thing. You don't want to be regionalized, right? You don't want to be just like, yo, that's it. You know what I mean? Like, and I think it's because we don't think that way. We don't think that egghead mentality is like, yo, we're trying to go beyond that. To me, like, music and culture has no border. Either you in or you're not. The problem here is that the gatekeepers, as I call them in this city, have been held on to it for so long that they won't let the new blood come in. Facts. And I've been a victim of that. I've had people come up to me like, yo, radio stations, hey, we want to do A, B, and C. Why are you guys not playing? Okay, you're playing top 40, but what are you doing in the city to bring up? I love LA's radio scene. They bring up their artists, bro. Yeah, they love their artists. They want to bring them up. Of course, they're going to play the Kendricks and, you know, the OT Genesis and all that, but they playing the young guys coming up. And New York had that until Slay passed. You know what I'm saying? Now it's a ghost town. Like there's no guy repping for them. So it's hard. It's really, really hard. You know what I'm saying? You mentioned Primo was a big influence. I guess we're gonna do a top 5 conversation. Fuck it.
Of all
top 5 producers all
let's
time.
do it.
Who's your top 5?
My top 5? Preem. 9th.
Woo!
The soul that man has consistently put out, man, the Little Brother days, all of that shaped me of what my sound was for a good few years, was just 9th soul, hip hop, boom bap, you know. Someone y'all probably don't know, or I don't know if y'all heard of, but growing up, Cunning Linguist was a rap group. They had a producer, DJ No. He also rapped. He was in the group. But his beats, man, that was a huge influence for me coming up. And then so that's 3. Kanye. Kanye has, as you know, we're not talking about Kanye as a human. We're talking from an artist standpoint.
What you think of Kanye, man?
As a human, I pray for him.
You think no, go ahead, finish. I want to ask you something about that after.
Yeah, Kanye, musically, genius.
He's amazing, bro.
Genius. And it's crazy if you actually look up his discography of what he's produced. So many tracks that you would never know. You're like, oh, Kanye did that. So
it's funny you say that. I actually remember early Dipset days. I remember I don't know if it was a Jewel's record. Nah, it had to be a Cam record. No, it was actually like a mixtape cut, and I thought the Heatmakers did it because it was very soulful. And shout to Black Adoni was like, "Yo, nah, Kanye did that shit." And from that moment, this is early Kanye. I'm talking. This is probably like 04, 05. No, it's had to be like 05, maybe 06. I'm like, no, it can't have been. It had to been before that because I'm trying to think now. Pardon me. I know we live. My fucking memory shot. Because I remember Jewel's. This was 50 came out in 03, right? Get Rich came out in 03, right?
03.
Kanye came out in 04. So this must have been college dropout era. But I heard that beat and I was like, there's no way Kanye did that shit. I knew from that moment his range. His range was fucking insane, bro.
When I heard Get By Talib,
insane.
Game over.
What a great fucking song.
You go listen to it now.
It's still great.
You still get hype when you hear the sample, the everything.
Everything, bro.
And then the fact that he took all of that, wasn't getting put on, and went and did his own thing, produced his own album, rapped on it.
What the arrogance of that prick, huh?
I guess.
No, he's dope. He's dope. His story to me is so crazy because I do remember running through my street team days, early Dipset days when I was in NY. He was trying his hardest to get on.
He really was.
Like, he was putting mixtapes out like Cam and Dipset. And I remember, I can't remember the young lady's name. She used to work at Def Jam. But she was trying her hardest to, like, get him out. And people wasn't paying attention. But I remember she gave me a CD. It was Get Well Soon. It was the mixtape that came out after he broke his jaw.
Yep.
I was like, this motherfucker, Kanye's next, bro. And sure as shit, bro. His influence is crazy. I was talking to the guys at the barbershop. Shout out to the Barber Lounge. Some of the guys are very upset about Kanye. They like they disown him now.
As a human though.
And they like everything. They're like, yo, I'm not gonna listen to him no more. And they asking me like, yo, Vinny, you still gonna listen to Kanye? I say, yes, bro. Like,
absolutely.
Why wouldn't I? He's like, oh, he's crazy. Okay. Michael Jackson was insane. Love that guy. Still listen to music.
Are crazy.
Like, come on now, bro.
But
so top 5 again. Let's run through it.
Preem.
Ninth.
Kanye. No. And the 5, man, it's interchangeable. It's how I feel.
Yeah, I feel that.
You could put Pete Rock in there. You could put Dilla in there.
Okay.
You could put Dre in there. You could put Scott Storch in there. You could put
Havoc,
Madlib, Havoc. Havoc.
So
underrated.
That whole sound of Mobb Deep was Havoc. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You could put Alchemist up there.
Yeah.
You can put.
So, let's do you the top 5 like all time. Do you have a top 5 now? Like maybe some younger cats or some guys coming up on the scene that you think have changed the game a little bit?
So Illmind. Illmind is one of the ones. Utah.
Yo, I did not know he did some shit for 50.
He did Drake 50.
What was that album we was talking about a couple weeks ago, man? When I know we was talking about G Unit a while. This was a while ago, but we was talking about G Unit and remember the Kanye versus 50 shit?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What was that album? Was it Curtis?
Yeah, it was Curtis.
Did Illmind do something on Curtis?
He did something, I think, on both of those albums, if I'm not mistaken.
It's something about 50 with them dark, grimy fucking records, bro. Like,
yeah,
he's insane with it, bro. But that's dope. Who else? Who else on the new? Like some of the newer producers. Who? Anybody influence you on that level?
Everyone in Griselda's camp. Conductor
Derringer.
Williams, Derringer, Beat Butcher, those cats. Derringer he brought hip hop, the boom bap back to the forefront. And
I'm curious what I know that Drake's working with Conductor, and
he put out 2 tracks already.
I love Drake on Conductor beats, bro.
The Me and My Brother,
whatever them 2 joints were on the album.
The joint he dropped when his kid was rapping at the end.
Yeah, wasn't that off? What was Drake's last album? Not this past one, but the one
For
before
the Dogs.
For the Dogs.
Yeah,
bro.
He had 2 on there.
I'm curious because I think Drake's producer 40.
40.
He's amazing.
I'll put 40 up there.
And I think if 40 can kind of bleed some influence into Conductor's been around a long time.
He's old cat. Yeah, he's old.
But I would love to see how that meshes with Drake on it.
Man,
that might be an interesting sound, bro.
Because 40. I'm gonna tell you this right now. I have
40.
I have a whole folder on my computer, just beats for Drake. I got a whole folder, just beats for Cole. You know what I mean?
You ready? The opportunity
those
comes.
Ready? Someone's like,
I got a file for you, G.
Someone's like, yo, Drake needs some beats. He's getting like 60, 70.
That's fire,
easy.
Bro.
You know, 40 sound was crazy. The underwater sound, the harmonies, the sampling, the 90s joints.
Yeah.
Because, we grew up hip hop. They were sampling 80s, 70s. To see it continuing, so now cats are sampling songs from the 90s and the 2000s. It's
40.
crazy.
I don't think 40 gets a lot of credit.
He doesn't. He really doesn't.
I know Drake's a superstar and like he's out of here, but like, bro, his production. One of the things we was talking about it last week. I haven't been a fan of Drake's previous, like the last few albums, but I always listen to Drake's albums from front to back because of the production.
Have to.
It's so fucking good, bro. Like he always has great production.
Because a lot of those beats switch.
And 40's the genius of it, man.
A lot of those beats switch. You're like, half of this beat.
I think that's dope.
The Tuscan leather.
When did that shit first start? Because the first time I noticed it was "Life Is Good." That was the first time I really like noticed it because Future came through. It was one beat and then Drake jumped on there and it switched up. But that's the first time I ever like seen that shit, and now it's more prevalent. You know what I'm saying? But was it before that? Did you notice it before that? I just think it's dope. That's dope as fuck.
I know
what I'm saying?
M does that.
Yeah.
M, like when he features, if you listen to some of the tracks he's on,
it's a completely different beat.
M almost abuses it though.
It's a little bit too much because he'll take a portion
you
of
think
it.
So?
Whoever his producer is,
you think so?
They just make a whole different beat and they're like, okay, and then he raps 32 bars, 64 bars, and then it jumps back into like that track with Joyner.
Yeah, that's true. That's right.
It completely that joint. Whoever whoever made that,
the one with
somebody else made
with
it.
JID. With
Yeah.
Fuel. Bro, I was pissed that he switched that up.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it because I think it's the meshing of the two.
Absolutely.
Because M is like out of here, bro. Like,
Yeah.
and kind of with Future and Drake too. They're completely different guys, different artists. You know what I'm saying? Like,
especially the JID one. That one hurt me.
First person
'Cause it's
shooter, switch, beat
bro,
switch.
that's true.
Come on,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
But it's a dope dynamic.
It's dope.
You get
love it,
something,
man.
you get something for half of it, and then you get like bars the next one. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So now, like, I make my beats like that. Like,
Yo.
I'll make something trap and then drop it and then bring in a hip hop beat or something like that. Because I watch a lot of beat battles, and you can't just play a beat. It's this the whole time. You know
Right.
what I mean?
You gotta switch it up.
switch it up.
I know.
And I won the Gathering of the Nations beat battle with all beats that I made like the week of. And I was like, okay. So I started watching all these cats. I'm like, how do these beats need to sound? Switch up. Switch up. You give them 2 beats in one thing with one sample.
That's it.
They're like, we can't.
They're going
we
crazy.
Can't mess with this.
Yeah.
Can't compete.
We
Going
can't mess with this. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
That's fire.
That's
That's a
the
cheat
beat
code.
switches. Oh,
For sure.
Easy.
No, that's one thing I really enjoy about. You know who else is dope at that too? I want to give him his props. The Dream and Tricky Stewart.
Yo,
I don't know if
the
you
Dream as a producer,
underrated
top 10.
songwriter too.
Top 10. Oh yeah,
Songwriter, too.
absolutely. Well, he wrote a lot of stuff that other artists did.
Yeah.
And you look at who wrote some of these songs, you're like, the Dream wrote
Dream.
this.
I know. My wife's a big Beyonce fan.
Yeah.
And I get technical, like T-Rav knows, and you know too, and I'm pretty sure Grizz knows. Like when an album comes out, I don't care who it is. Like I'm reading credits.
Yeah.
I'm diving into it, bro. Like I wanna know everything about it. And I think this is around the time, like, I think Beyonce just dropped the album. It was like no one knew it was coming out. She just dropped it. So the credits took a while to come.
Yeah.
And the Dream did a lot of that album and those transitions, brother. And then her last album, not the country album, but the album before that, same thing, is like he's a fucking master at that.
Yeah.
And he writes incredibly. Drake, I've just found out that Drake did a couple of joints on the Beyonce album. He wrote
As a writer?
and,
Of course
oh
he
my
did,
God, fuck, bro. Some of my favorite
course he
Beyonce
did.
records. I'm like, bro,
Why are you surprised?
But okay, wait.
I
Okay.
ain't surprised, bro.
Did Drake write those?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I want to ask you about Drake.
Okay.
Now that we're talking about Drake, my guy Grizz here, he's a Drake fan.
I'm a Drake fan.
I'm a Drake fan too.
I'm a Drake fan through and through.
However, I'm a Drake fan, but I as I'm a fan of a lot of guys, I'll give you the criticism where criticism's due.
Absolutely.
Same thing with Kendrick. Same thing with Cole. How do you feel about Drake not writing his raps during this era, but being able to pen records for Beyonce and records for, you know, this guy and this guy? Like, do you think that he should be chastised for his pen, or you think it's strong enough?
Well, okay, so did we ever get full, receipts that he wasn't writing that?
Which one? What are we talking
Anything that
I'm talking more specifically the
anything that
Quinn
was-
Miller situation.
about? The Quentin Miller situation.
Okay, yeah.
I mean,
did.
we're talking about reference tracks, right? We're talking about, but what artist hasn't been written for? Is a lot of artists in every genre of music have accepted music,
there's people
and
out
then
there
not
that-
only
that's all they
that,
do
but
is make
you can't
reference.
say that Drake hasn't proven his pen
Right.
game.
No,
For sure.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that.
You say that a lot.
All right, I'm gonna tell you this.
I'll tell you what I said after you go, Jay.
There was a track, Think Good Thoughts, that Drake put out.
Mm-hmm.
Ninth beat. Anita Baker sample.
It's an old one, right? That's
old song. This was the Replacement Girl days
Yeah,
of Drake.
yeah.
You know what I mean? This was fresh. this was
Yeah, that's
fresh.
all
This was fresh out the wheelchair
Yeah.
days. You know what I mean? Like Drake, I don't think he had people writing for him, and he was spitting. He
Oh, bro,
was-
that first, the Room for Improvement
Yeah,
mixtape,
fire.
Have you heard? You listened to it?
I have
don't think
that.
you've listened to it. The Room for Improvement,
Yeah.
bro, get out of here. You and listen to that? Tell me he can't spit. You
Listen,
tripping
I've never said Drake can't spit. I never said that.
or write?
But my thing is that my argument is that I can't put him in top tier because of that.
top tier writers or
Yeah.
top tier artists.
Just top tier MCs, bro. I can't put him up there.
Okay, well,
I just can't. Because if
Well-
you got a ghostwriter, like imagine if Pac had a ghostwriter, would you feel upset?
No,
I mean, no.
But here's the counter.
You don't think they were
to
ever
my-
sitting in a room and somebody contributed to it was like, oh, maybe say it like
That's
this, or
different, though.
maybe do it like
That's
this, or
different.
maybe
That's mad.
That's different though.
but the
that's
first
not the whole song.
the
But
first-
it ain't like he wrote the whole
But
song.
like, yo, if somebody's like, oh, don't say fuck, say shit here.
Bro, but we all know, like, so if you give me a piece, a piece of, like, he gave him a reference track, he knows, like, oh, this shit's gonna be fire if I put it out. Why wouldn't you fucking put it out?
No.
Why wouldn't you put it out? It's not like
Because
they
I
write
look at-
all his music.
Here's why I look at Drake. I
You're
put Drake
tripping.
in the same.
Like-
Listen, hear me out. Hear me out. I put Drake in the same category as a Kanye because he's R&B and rap together.
Okay. Okay.
So I don't get mad that Kanye don't write his own rhymes because Kanye don't. Right? I don't get mad at Dr. Dre when he don't write his rhymes because he don't.
or make his own beats.
Right. So I put kind of Drake in that same category where it's like, you're great. We love you. We respect you. We know your pen game is like, bro, Drake's pen game is amazing, bro. I sat here and said, bro, when he did the battle with Kendrick, bro, he's
So what are you saying then? What is the
What
problem?
I'm trying to tell you, I just want his perspective on, am I wild? Am I bugging out? Am I on a spaceship with King Bao? In regards to saying that that Drake can't be put in the top tier of lyricists because he had a ghostwriter. Am I tripping? Am I being too much of a purist from a fellow purist? You can tell me no on my own show. I ain't gonna get mad at you. I just want to know. Am I bugging out? Am I on a spaceship? Gris says I am. I can tell right now. He ain't gotta say nothing.
Drake's a different.
He's a different animal.
He's a different character. You know what I mean? I would. You could put him in there.
You could. Okay.
You could put him in there. I wouldn't discredit him. It hit. You may not be close to some of the others, but he's still in there.
Bro, he impresses
there's
me. Man.
what?
He does. He really does. There's points of Drake's where he really disappoints me, and then he'll come around and be like, God damn it, Aubrey. That was fire, bro. That shit was fire. Just like the battle, bro. I love the battle, bro. I love the whole battle from top to bottom.
Absolutely.
Both sides, I love the whole thing. Because I think it forced Drake, too, to, like, kind of get competitive, right? Like
It forced his pen.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And
So
Drake's
I think at
pen
some
is to me, I think it's great, bro. I think it is.
in the heat of it, like if you know, gun to your head, he can do what needs to be done, 100%. Now, do we know who helped him? Do we know did Cole send him some verses? Cole was like, I'm gonna bow out, but use this. You know what I'm saying? Because some of that stuff,
Conspiracy theories, maybe?
some of that
What are you
stuff,
thinking?
go listen to it again. It has a little Cole-esque to it.
Uh-oh.
I'm just saying.
Uh-oh.
I break it down
I mean,
way too finely. You know what I mean? Go listen to some of those battles again.
yeah.
Each track.
You're going to make me listen to it again.
Listen to Cole's track.
I got a gym set for the battle.
Just the battle.
I just do, yeah.
I
That gets me
like that.
hype, bro. That push-ups joint, that shit was fire. I was gonna send you actually last night. I found the actual first version of push-ups.
Yeah.
With the Junior Mafia sample. Did you ever hear that?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
absolutely.
I actually found it like it's not mastered, but it sounds better than the rip that they had. That version was super dope. Last couple of things before we jump into some of the topics. So, what you working on now? I know you said you did some shit with DZ. I know you told us off air. So you working with DZ? What are the projects or what are you kind of working on now?
So we got a project, the homie's second verse, Jordan and Biz. Shout outs to them. We got a whole
That's
thing.
ASI, right?
No, Biz is UBR. He was UBR front runner,
okay.
and then Jordan came up and he was around with the crew, but then they started doing their thing. But we got a whole album called The Book of Jason coming out, and it's just all my production.
Dope.
There's
You gonna
a,
put on DSPs?
oh yeah.
Dope.
There's a group called Dios Mio. It's the homie Rage and the homie Cero. Whole album produced by me, and then Cali's got beats. You know, everyone got beats. Everyone's got beats. You know,
Sure.
it's just like, when are we gonna put these out?
Yeah.
But as far as music, I'm not in the industry or the music business to put out stuff. Sometimes I just want to vibe. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I need to hear a beat with this sample.
Yeah.
I'll make it. I'll listen to it in the car.
Yeah.
It doesn't hit.
You do it for
platform.
yourself.
Absolutely.
It's therapeutic.
And I think that's why I don't get locked in is
Yeah.
because I make music that I like to listen to. You know what I mean? And I listen to everything from, not a country fan, but everything in between. You know, I've been messing heavy with some K-pop recently. It's just like a trap, R&B, pop type of difference, you know.
Yo,
everything.
I'm a huge Afro beats guy.
Absolutely.
That's usually what I listen to during the day.
Yeah.
Like there's no rap before noon. You know what I'm saying? Type shit.
Yeah. Vibes.
There's so much dope music coming out that I love how you're current. You listening to everything that's going on. I think that's important, especially being a producer, because you don't want to be locked into one section. You know what I'm saying?
I got pop records. I got R&B records, trap, hip hop, boom bap.
That's fire, bro.
You know, that's everything.
That's why I remember when shout out to my brother Shame. I know Shame's got some shit coming out. Don't be surprised if he hits you, but
absolutely.
We was talking about that same shit too. It was like when you want to get that influence, but you also want to kind of hear what's going on outside, right? Mm-hmm. And you are the point two guy, in my opinion, producer wise in the city. Like, if I know an artist needs something, but they don't know what it is, yo,
I'll give him whatever.
Jason got everything. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to Shame. That Velvet Rope joint.
Insane, bro. I wish we could have cleared that shit. So I think that record got us in trouble with that Piff. I'm not gonna lie to you.
100%.
I've abused
you ain't sampling Janet like that.
Well, here's what happened. So I don't know if you got. I don't want to give out industry tactics or secrets to the young cats out there watching, because I do not suggest that you do this shit, because litigation's a motherfucker, and if you don't got a lawyer, you're fucked.
You're fucked. Absolutely.
But I will tiptoe around this as best as I can. When we did that joint, we was messing with KP from Dat Piff. Fuck you too, KP. It's still fuck you. Give us that money you owe Pap, and then we can help you with your new platform or whatever the fuck you're trying to do. But we was rolling deep on Dat Piff. I had got a great promo partner, Blastless. We was doing bottom feeder. We had DJ Blast, the whole nine. Had a couple records on Shade 45 playing through Slay. A couple other DJs I was fucking with. Well, I think what happened was someone got a hold of it and they reported it.
And they heard it.
And fucking all the Shame shit got taken down. All of them joints, bro. Taken down Dat Piff. We couldn't get him back up. So I started fucking with Live Mixtapes, which is like another kind of Dat Piff sister site. And they put it up, and then I think it's still up there, but like that was an insane record you did for Shame, bro. It's one of my favorites, man.
Yeah, it wasn't hip hop at all.
No. And that's the shit that I love about Dollars, is because he raps and he's very technical in his raps.
Absolutely.
But he will fucking rap on anything, bro.
I don't know how he heard the beat or how I sent him the beat, but he's like, I need that. He's like that, and then he told me, he's like, that's the intro track, and I'm like, let's run it. Insane,
bro. Yeah, Dollars is working on some shit, man. I want to have him up here when he's ready. He's been hibernating, but he's been working, so I'm excited to have him up here.
He knows how to hit me up,
bro. When y'all two came together, it was magic. I want to talk a little bit about you're in this new endeavor now with the collectibles, right? I seen you grinding out there with the baseball cards, the football cards. Tell me a little bit about what got you into that. Something from your childhood that you sparked back, or someone introduced it to you?
My mom was always working, so it was just me and my sister. We would go to my aunt's house, and my cousin, we would go in his room, and this cat had Star Wars toys, all in boxes, all over. And just seeing that, I always thought about it in life. I'm like, one of these days I'm gonna have a room just full of toys, not open, just collecting them. So I would say maybe a few years before COVID, I started getting into the Funko Pops. So I would get like...
Oh, yeah, I seen you post them a lot. Yeah.
I had all the hip-hop artists. I had the Bigs, the Tupacs, the TLCs, everything. Stuff that I was like, oh, this is Ninja Turtles, stuff that I grew up on. Kobe, whatever. And then, then I started, of course, getting back into wrestling. Started getting some figures of wrestling. And yeah,
big market for that, bro.
Big market, huge market for both of those. And then they just kind of fell stagnant, and it like everything started dropping. The market started dropping. Then I started seeing this card thing, sports cards. I was like, oh, I got some basketball cards in my closet. I got some, this and that, because we used to collect all that as a kid.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I pulled some out, and I was like, oh, let me see if I got anything. Nothing. So one day I just remember, I was like, I have too much shit here. Too much stuff on the walls. It's just dust, literally.
Clutter, yeah.
So I found someone, and I traded almost my whole collection for sports cards. And then I was like, okay. And then I started looking up value, what kind of stuff there was out there, signed cards, all that stuff. Started selling some stuff on eBay. And then I would say within the last year or so, I got introduced to like the card shows. So, you know, going to these shows, setting up and, you know, going to talk to them. Hey, you want to buy this?
Trade, swap,
all
sell.
of that. And then I got introduced to the other side of the table, selling that stuff. So, yeah, I would say maybe the last 8-9 months has just been full grinding on card selling. Every aspect of it, you know, and it's treating me well.
It was dope, man.
It's
Good for
treating
you,
me well,
That's
man.
dope. That's dope. Yeah, no, that's a big market. I see. I shit you not. I got a son. He's 6 years old. I take him to the toy section here and then when we go to the store. I don't see no kids in that motherfucker. I see grown ass men in that motherfucker.
Absolutely.
He wanted something recently, and I wanted to punch this motherfucker in his face. My wife had to tell me to chill. We was at Target, and my son wanted something. It was like a Pokemon thing. He didn't really need it, and like I was trying to tell him, like, nah, bro, you ain't getting none, because he's got this thing in him. Every time we go to the store, he wants to get something. Like, bro, no. And I was kind of entertaining. I was like, you know, it's pay week or whatever. I'll get you something. You've been good. He picks up the thing, and then I think he puts it back because he wants something else. And then he changes his mind, and he comes back. And I'm literally like, my son and this grown man are coming together. And the grown fucking man takes the thing. And I'm like, yo, son, that's ours. And I started thinking about it. I was like, and he was very upset about it, this grown man. So I started thinking, like, I see red, of course. I'm ready to punch this motherfucker, Tyson his eye. And then I you know, went back home, smoked a blunt on it, and I was like, yo, this motherfucker that's probably his rent money. Because that's what these guys do. They hustle the toys, you know what I'm saying? They hustle them on eBay or whatever.
Scalpers.
Scalping motherfuckers. What's high priority now? Is it the cards nowadays, or is it the figures and the toys and things like that? Yeah.
I mean, Pokemon market is, I think it's above Microsoft right now.
Get the fuck out of here.
It's up
for
there.
real?
It's wild. If you look at like stocks and markets and stuff, you know, that business part of it, it's on a rise.
Who owns Pokemon? Nintendo?
No, Pokemon is owned by whoever created Pokemon.
Oh, okay.
The
Like
cat
Nintendo didn't go buy that shit, no?
No, they had a business with them, but Nintendo doesn't own them.
Oh, I see. Oh, they probably got a license. Nintendo probably licensed that shit. Wow, that's
But
crazy.
yeah, the market is insane. Sports cars is huge, you know.
But I see the wrestling figures now are going for top dollar too. Like I seen
$20-$30.
Yeah, they're expensive,
if not more.
So my son's been into wrestling now, which is funny because, you know, me and you grew up on that ECW, that violent shit.
That was a wild time.
That was insane, bro. How did our parents let us watch that shit?
How they got away with having that on TV is
insane,
beyond
right?
me, man. Naked girls, blood.
That was a shit
Knives.
of life, bro.
It was that one dude that almost killed a guy, right? He's a black guy. It's on a documentary. He threw him off the fucking building or something like that. They're like, and then it was like a big old controversy, like what's entertainment, what should be allowed, and
that was entertainment.
Oh, bro, threw his ass off the damn top of the roof, bro. Like 2 stories, 3 stories.
Dropped
Dropped
this
dude,
too.
bro.
She let us get them pay-per-views too, man.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We get lit.
My mom's like, "Where you going this weekend?" Yo, I'm going to Jason's crib. Why? I said, "Yo, it's pay-per-view time."
We gotta watch it. We gotta see someone get stabbed or
Oh, it was just
something crazy.
I remember one time New Jack came out with a fucking. It was like a blade, but it was like a curved blade.
Yeah.
He's over here blading people's foreheads, pizza cutters.
And if you remember him, I think he passed. Rest in peace.
Yeah, I think so too.
You remember his head?
Yeah,
It was all fucked up.
blading.
Yeah.
Dusty
That dude was a
Rhodes, all those
menace.
cats, man.
A
He was a
fucking
wild
menace,
dude.
bro.
he was crazy.
But the fact they got away with putting that on TV, on TNT, I remember, or TNN. TNN.
oh yeah, TNN. It was the
Watching
Redneck Network. Remember
Yeah.
they said like fishing and shit. Like why do you got fishing before
And then
wrestling?
it went straight to Extreme Championship Wrestling. Nah, man,
was
we
it.
shouldn't have been watching that.
Nah, I loved it though, man. So I let my son watch it. I let him watch one of the matches with the Dudleys and
Edge and Christian.
no, it was in ECW. I think it
Oh,
was
okay.
Dreamer and Sandman.
Man,
And my son's like, why is he lighting things on fire? So then he starts seeing lighters around the crib. And I'm like, you better not be lighting nothing on fire, bro. You know what I'm saying? This ain't ECW.
flipping off
But it's
tables
crazy,
and-
like, you know, and I gotta tell him, like, hey, this is like a dance. Like they don't really hate each other. It's just a show. It's like a movie. I tell them, you know what I'm saying?
It's,
I've been
it's
telling
the
my
longest
kids,
running soap opera there's been.
I tell my kids that all the time, especially like my daughter when she was little, she wanted to watch it for some reason.
Like, all right.
And my other brother, he was like, yo, don't let them watch that. And I was like, yo, I just tell him it's make believe. And he never got scared. Thank God. Like my son didn't really get scared because I tell him it's just a show. Like, you know, it's just a movie. I need to holler at you because I have ECW figures that are sealed from the first run.
Oh, I'm taking all those.
So
I'm taking all those.
Hey, we might have to kind of give you a percentage of some. I gotta get rid of them.
I'll buy them straight up. Whatever market is.
I gotta fucking get rid of them, bro, because they're just in a box, bro, collecting dust. They fucking in my shed. I gotta get.
See,
I got Ninja Turtle figures. I don't know if those are worth anything, but like the original, they still got the price tag on them. They're $3.99.
I'm pretty sure
whatever y'all got
from the '90s.
Jay's like, I'll take it.
I'll flip all of it. I promise you. I know someone who knows someone that we get rid of everything.
That's dope, man. I'm glad you kind of branching off too. You know, getting other revenue streams is important.
Oh, bro, for sure.
I think that you know, obviously I'm blessed to be up here with the Hydro Bar. We got a situation here with them, and them. You can't just really, especially nowadays with the economy the way it is, you can't just focus on one piece, right? You gotta have a foundation somewhere, right? You just gotta build on top of that. So, I salute you. I'm proud of you for doing that shit, man, because I know it's something you want to do. It's a passion, right? So,
well, you an influence too, man. You do. Ever since I known you, you've been doing something with somebody, making some sort of moves.
Trying, man. I always been. You know what it is I think my family is known for doing illegal activities and getting locked up. So the hustle is in me.
Absolutely.
I just couldn't do what they did. I just couldn't, bro, because I watched it all the time. I was like, yo, why is my dad in jail again? Like, why? You like it there? Like, what the fuck? And my cousin's always getting in trouble. So I had to go the hip hop route because that's what changed my life. Same thing with you. It's like, bro, when shit wasn't working out in my life, I was like, yo, I'm throwing this CD on, you know, or this album on.
Yeah.
I'm getting away from this shit. You know what I mean?
I mean, I went to jail 18. I think I was 4 months into being 18.
Really? Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
really?
man. MDC is chilling.
Damn, how long were you there for?
2.5 weeks.
Fuck, bro. The worst, huh?
They put me in felony pod.
F pod?
They threw me in there, and because I was in on misdemeanor, you know, little green charge, you know, a little something.
It was just for the green.
They got my name wrong. My last name, so they thought I was somebody else.
Oh shit!
So they treated me horrible. They threw me in F pod.
You saw him?
Oh yeah, absolutely. As soon as he left, but I mean, you get restitution. You get X amount of dollars. They give you the money. You have to pay the lawyer. Mm-hmm. Lawyer was like $2,500. They give you $3,000, and then Mom Duke, she's like, you did this to me. you did this to me. So she took the $500, and I was like, all I got was to stay in jail.
That's it.
That's it. Didn't get nothing from it. But yeah, man,
same thing.
Going to jail changed me. I'm like, I'm not.
Fuck that.
Yeah, bro. Anytime in jail make you never want to be there again.
You know what's
bro?
fucked up when I was a kid too? So my grandfather, he died in jail, federal prison. And every time my birthday came around, there was always a phone call, and he was like, "You got a call from a federal," you know what I mean? So it was like, bro, I just didn't want no parts of that shit, bro. And I appreciate you saying that though, because like I had to find something, and I think for me, I always want to find something within hip hop, but I also want to understand the business because I'm wondering how these guys making all this money. Then you come to find out that there's really not no money in this shit on the artist level. It's all these white suits and blue collars up at the labels.
Oh yeah, artists.
Then you get discouraged, and you got to find other avenues. You know what I'm saying? So
I hear all these stories about these artists' first advance for their albums, their first projects, and they end up owing money.
It's insane.
They're not making. They could sell 1 million records. That's just the 1 million that you have to pay back that you got in advance, and then you're not really eating. So that it paints a picture of like, oh, are these artists really talking about what they, being about what they talk about?
They're not.
They're not.
They're not.
They're not. But I mean, hey, that's the business. Someone's gonna believe it.
They look for those people. I tell all this now. I'm gonna drop a little short on YouTube probably tomorrow on Monday. But we had this conversation with Fragile Boy. He was up here. He's an up and coming Latin R&B cat.
He's nice too.
He's dope, man. He's
nice
super dope. And I was telling him, I'm like, bro, go take out a loan.
Yeah.
You got a business, take out a loan, LLC, or not take a personal loan if you got a 9-to-5 or whatever, and invest in yourself.
Yep.
Because that money that you're looking for, those labels are looking for you to come with your hand out. It's a predatory system. You know what I'm saying? Because the interest rates on these label deals are fucking insane, bro.
Yeah, it's wild.
It's insane. It's above 50%.
I just filed the LLC for my car business.
Dope.
So we can put merch out. We can do all that stuff.
Nah, that's dope, man.
As an
Salute to
entity
you for
now.
doing it. That's the way. That's the way it should be. And I think sometimes a lot of artists get caught up in the smoke and mirrors of the game, of the visual side of things, and they don't really understand that to get to that spot, it takes a lot of hard work, and there's a lot of smoke and mirrors is the best way to put it. It ain't what it appears to be.
If an artist could just drop music and that was it, there'd be. I mean, there's thousands of artists out there that you hear and you're like, why are you even doing this?
You know what's crazy? When I was working with TuneCore, they used to tell me every day, they was like, shout out to TuneCore, I think they told me like 50,000, maybe not that much, maybe it's like 20,000 songs get uploaded a day.
Absolutely.
Of just people making music. And none of them motherfuckers are friends with the people that can put you in the algorithm. So it's just out there. It's just floating there. No one looks at it. And that's what I hope changes, within the industry, is that whatever these platforms might be, short and long term, that they find a fucking way to kind of, I don't know, maybe do a regional thing like how radio used to be. Like, you're in this region, I hear some artists that can throw them an algorithm. That way people can, stream and make their bread.
Put that together. That's on you. That's
Jay-Z tried to do it and everybody shit on Jay. Which was that hurt me because Jay was really trying to help the artists, man. He really was like, yo, I'm giving y'all a platform. Then Nicki Minaj want to do her thing and fuck that up. And a lot of people just didn't see the vision, unfortunately. But, hey, man, I would love to do it. Last question I have for you. Now I want to jump into some topics, man. You down to jump into some topics?
Absolutely.
We might have to go crazy on them, but
I'm ready.
What's your advice that you have for a young producer or a young DJ here, not only in the city, but just out there that's maybe starting, wants to be a DJ, wants to be a producer? What kind of advice you have from a veteran like you?
Have passion for it. You got to have passion for anything that you do. Don't expect to make millions of dollars off the bat. There's stories, Cat was at the right place at the right time, but 90% of the people out here that are producers, artists, they ain't going to make it.
Yeah.
Have a backup plan. Have something else to do to where you can come back to it. And like I said, I make beats for me sometimes. I don't let nobody hear them. I just make them because I wanted to hear it.
Yo, this guy got a hard drive full of heat. He's like, yo, it's mine, son. You gonna Kanye us?
Bro, I have thousands of beats that one's ever heard, that if they heard, they'd be like, oh, like I said, every type of genre, everything.
Yeah, that's dope.
It's for me. You know what I mean? I'm not here trying to get on. The music seems too hard to get on. It's unless you have the right artist, the right moves, that's why I don't even really like working with people anymore.
It's I think now the industry's changed so much that I told Fragile this last week. It's like when you get your block hot, then they come.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna get your block hot and you let them pump on your block, you're a fucking idiot because you don't need them. We made that mistake. With Pap, when he signed a job for $1.5 million, that was the fucking worst mistake we made as a crew because we chased the bag and it killed the buzz. But that's what Job was there for, is that we didn't need them. Pap was the hottest motherfucker in the streets, bro, for 2 years plus independently.
Absolutely.
We was selling the artwork. The CD was free for promotional use only. We was out there doing our thing by ourselves, bro. We didn't need no fucking label. And then once you think you need them because they have all the resources, they end up coming and, sabotaging, and they do all this funny shit because, people in high places don't want you to succeed, or they could perceive you as a threat. So don't play that game. Be independent. Do the shit you want to do.
Yeah, do what you want to do.
Yeah, make the sound you want to make, and you keep pushing through with your passion, like Jay said, you're going to go somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Learn the business, read books. Talk to veterans that are in the game, and the internet's fucking free.
The music's the easy part. It's everything else behind that you gotta actually learn and actually study on to make it. Anyone can make a track. We could all sit down right now and make a song.
Yo, me and Chris got an idea. We might want you to produce it. Yo, he's got an insane idea that we could do it. I'm telling you, it's gonna be the #1 record in the fucking world. I guarantee it. Remember that idea you had? I ain't gonna say it on live on air. Bro.
Yeah, bro.
We gonna make that happen, though.
Yeah, dog.
Because why? The dumb is intrigued by the drum. But yeah, I appreciate you coming up here, man. And I think that again, we need guys like you, not only in my space, and you always got an outlet too. So one thing I always tell people come up here, we good behind the scenes, but you got a project you want to push. Your guys, the album coming out.
Yeah.
They all got seats in here. Let's come through and you guys promote up here. Let people know what you're working on. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.